Hi, welcome to How to Stats. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to perform a hierarchical multiple regression in SPSS. If you haven't already seen a video, or if you don't already know how to perform and interpret a multiple regression in SPSS, I'll encourage you to either check out one of my videos on that topic, or check out somebody else or a textbook. So I'm assuming you already understand multiple regression. So hierarchical multiple regression is one level higher in complexity. There's one particular point I think that students really struggle with, or anyone learning about hierarchical multiple regression in the SPSS output to be very careful about, and I'll be sure to point that out. Now the example I'm going to use is actually from a published study. At least it's based on that. It's not totally consistent with the results because they simply didn't report enough. But what I'm looking at in this fictitious example, which is based on a real study, is the relationship between physical attractiveness of professors and students' ratings of professor quality. So units were evaluated in university by students, and the researcher hypothesized that there would be a relationship between how hot the professors were considered to be and how good the unit quality was considered to be. Presumably, there shouldn't be a correlation between two such things, but students are human and they may be susceptible to inferring capabilities of professors that they don't actually have just because they are good looking. So if we wanted to look just at the correlation between those two things, that would be a Pearson correlation. But in this case, there are other variables involved, like you would find in a multiple regression. And in this case, the researcher, at least in this fictitious case, in the study, they only look at the correlations. In this case, I'm doing a hierarchical multiple regression because I want to see if hotness can be found to predict quality, unit quality, above and beyond easiness, helpfulness, and clarity. That is the main purpose of a hierarchical multiple regression, which is to see if a additional variable or additional variables can be found to be associated with some predictive capacity at predicting a dependent variable above and beyond one or more other variables. And that's why it's hierarchical. There's a sequence to it. So to perform the hierarchical multiple regression, you simply have to go through the same menu options that you would for a ordinary multiple regression. So analyze, regression, linear. And overall unit quality is the dependent variable in this case. And hotness is the primary variable of interest. So we don't want to enter that variable yet into the first block. Instead, we want to include our other variables like the easiness of the unit, helpfulness of the unit, and clarity of the unit. We want to put those in as a box, or together as a block rather, and I'm putting them into the independence box. So I've got three variables, and this section here where it says block 1 of 1, well, these variables are going to go in the first block. And then I click on next. So now I've got block 2 of 2. And I'm going to put my primary variable of interest into the independence box to evaluate its predictive capacity above and beyond those other three variables. Now I'm going to have to click on a few options in statistics, and a key option that you need to click on as distinct from multiple regression is you need to click on R-squared change, because we're going to look at the R-squared change associated with including the hotness variable into the model. I always like to look at part and partial correlations and descriptives and collinearity diagnostics. I'm not going to click on that one because I'm going to keep it a little bit more manageable, but I do have in the multiple regression video series, I do talk about collinearity, and I'm not going to talk about it in this case. So I click on continue and I click on OK. And the first box table that SPSS outputs, let me minimize this so that you can see the output a bit more. There's a big window. There we go. So we can see that the first table has the means and standard deviations. Let's just say that they were rated